Ahead and first mute everyone.
Okay.
All right, guys. So welcome. I'm so happy everybody is here today. We love doing this, getting together and being able to just chat about our passions, and then really our journey with health and wellness. And I think right now this is super important, mainly because with everything going on globally, many more people are aware and thinking about their health. And even as kids transition going into school and things like that, I think one of the things that people don't realize is while yes, some might be doing school from home and some might be going back with other people, either way, it is still important as the season changes to build a strong immune system for our children. It is so important. And even I think about the kids that are staying at home. If you are on screens all day long, that still is going to be affecting your immune system. And I think it's something that we don't talk enough about. So tonight, we're going to just tell our stories. We're going to have a few of our favorite products and things that we use and how to use them. And we just want to give you a clear vision of Young Living as a company, because they are a full wellness company. I think people know them best, obviously, for their oils, but it really truly is a community and a lifestyle. Okay, so not only do you get amazing products, but you get support, you get community, and all of those things. So as I begin, I think it's so important that anytime anyone speaks to you, you should know who they are and why they have the right to speak to you into your life. So my name is Dana. If this is my first time meeting you, welcome. I appreciate you being here. So my journey really started, I actually would say my journey really started as a child, but I always kind of would incorporate both traditional things as well as holistic things. So I was in the beauty industry, still in the beauty industry, over 15 years. So I often worked at spas and salons where, aromatherapy and feeling good was just the norm. I used to joke because people would come to me with like, oh, my client has this issue. What oil should they blend together or what should they do? And so for me, when my older sister, Tashina, actually introduced me to Young Living, I already had in my mind a holistic lifestyle. Okay, I was already using other oils, I was already using other things, but it came at a period of time in my life where my son was very sickly. I was on bed rest with him for 5 months. When he was born, he was very colicky, had really bad eczema, asthmatic, had to be on breathing treatments. And for me as a mom, I'm just like, there has to be other options. So we changed our diet. I was nursing him at the time, so I knew what I ate went directly to him. We changed our environment. I flipped over labels. Anything that was linked to asthma or linked to allergies, I got rid of it. So sadly, I stopped burning candles, which is even now during the fall season is hard for me because I used to love my candles, right? But I realized that it was doing my family and my son more harm than good. And so I only wanted good things in our home. And so I got very studious about researching and looking into things. And so when my sister first introduced me, I was a little bit skeptical, but I am a researcher. So I was like, let me take a look at this company. Let me take a look at their practices and their farming. And today we're going to go and dive deep into some of those practices as well, because I think it's super powerful, because you see oils any and everywhere, but what makes this company different, which is huge. And so she gave me a sample of Peace and Calming. That was the first oil that I got to experience. I remember that night I put it in his bath water and his frantic splashings and excitement went to nothing. And at first, as a mom, I got scared, right? Because I thought, I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened to my child? And I realized that his little head was nodding and he was getting tired. And so I decided every night until that little sample went away to continue to use that peace and calm me. And that was the first time that he slept through the night. And I felt like I had some relief. And I felt like this was the missing link to all of the things that we had been doing throughout our journey. And ever since, I'm just so grateful, because when we go into fall, when we go into the changing seasons, I don't fear anymore, because I'm an empowered mom. I know that I have tools in my arsenal, and I know that even when I don't have the answers, there's another mommy friend that I can call up and they can help empower me. So that's my story, a little bit about me and just why I'm super, super passionate about really sharing that, not only here, but internationally with everybody, because I think that this is something that truly, truly could bless and benefit other people. So that's all I got with that. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Miss Lydia.
Hey, hi everyone. Hope you are doing well this evening. As Dana said, my name is Lydia Epic. There's two Lydias, so if you want to call me Lydia E, that works, right? So I'm so excited to be able to share with you in this space, in this season, especially with regards to how you can best provide for your family a way of being well, not just simply physically, but then also emotionally. So when we talk about our stories and where we started, you'll find that on your wellness journey, there's multiple levels of beginnings. So my initial beginning started before I had children, where I was I was given the wrong medication for what was happening to my body, and it created great havoc within my system. It took almost a year to go about resetting my gut after what happened, and that was where I had the aha moment of, it's important for me to be an advocate for my health and for my family's health. Then fast forward to when we were expecting my daughter. She was our first child, and I was visiting an esthetician at the time, and she gave me the somewhat shocking news that the products that she had prescribed for me to use on my skin, I would need to stop using, because there were studies linking it to potential damage to a child as they're growing, which seemed really strange. The idea that something that I could put on my face as a cream would have the ability to affect my growing child in my womb. And so that unlocked another level of, now I need to actually consider what it is that I'm putting on my skin. What are the things that I might even be breathing in? What are the chemicals that are around me that I may be completely missing, that I should be aware of and should remove from our system? So then when we moved into actually having our children, so we have two little ones now, then it became an area of finding ways to have hormonal support, emotional support. As moms, there's just a whole lot of things that we go through, right? Our bodies go through some very dynamic changes when we have children. And as we just get older, our bodies go through very dynamic changes. So to be able to have one oil or one source, if you will, one modality that is able to address each of those areas and provide energy, provide for me personally, it's been incredible for emotional balance and for hormone balance, as well as to know this is a way that I can keep my children safe as we clean our home, and I can take care of my skin, and I can advocate for my family's health. It is really just, it's mind expanding, right? And so I am so geeked that you're here to be able to hear about the ways that, again, this is just going to scratch the surface of how it is that you can go about providing for your wellness, and to know this is something that's available to you. It's only the tip of the iceberg. So hang on, and we'll be sure to share some really awesome ways, just kind of, again, a scratching of the surface of the things that we use. So turning it over to Lydia.
All right. Hey guys. So I'd love teaching with these two because they kind of cover like how they got started on the product end. I always love to tell my Young Living story because it is just kind of like the opposite. It's the opposite. And it's not the opposite because I didn't love the products right when I touched them. It's the opposite because I actually got an experience to see the business from behind the curtains. The way that I got introduced to Young Living is I'm married to the former chief sales officer of Young Living. So when you're married to the chief of sales, you first of all, expect him to be on the road a lot. He's on the road 60, 70% of the time. And I love Young Living so much. There's such a special place in my heart because during that time, Young Living, they showed their real commitment to family by making sure that me as his wife, our family, could also be able to jump on a plane and go along. So my husband would, so there would never be a time where, it was a month before between when I would see my husband and not. So I would end up on the plane quite a lot. I could choose the trips that I wanted to go on. There's rallies, there's conventions, there's incentive trips. Those are my very favorite. And let me tell you what, I did what every single one of you would do not lie. I went on as many trips as I could. I made it a point during this time to check off a bunch of places on my passport. I went to Honduras, I went to Belize, I went to Australia, I went to I went to Darwin and I went to Sydney, which I love Sydney. That's like my favorite place. I went to London, went to Prague. I went to all over France. That's probably my very favorite trip. I went to Nice, Marseille, Provence. Young Living has a castle in Provence. And this is during the lavender harvest. So you're looking out and seeing just purple rolling hills of beautiful blossoms everywhere. I actually even got to harvest some of that lavender in Paris. I mean, I went all over the place. I went to Banff. I went on a private plane to Banff where John Mayer, 5-time Grammy Award winning John Mayer was playing a private concert for the Diamonds. I got to experience that. So as you can imagine, during this time, my mind is just blown and I'm just freaking out because of how cool all of these incentive trips are. And really, I got so many lessons, but my top 3 kind of lessons that I gained were, number 1, I got to see what seed to seal looks like. So during many of these trips, you get an opportunity and you don't have to be a corporate executive guest to do this. You don't have to be even a member of Young Living to do this, but I got to step foot on so many farms all around the world. And what I saw and experienced was what the seed to seal quality commitment is all about. And from the first farm I really just went to is just an hour south of where I live. But whether or not I was in France or Spain or anywhere else, I really got ingrained in my mind what the seed to seal commitment is. Young Living is the OG of essential oils, and nobody can beat the standards. That's really what it comes down to. There's a few things that kind of stuck out specifically, like, during the acquisition of a farm or looking for the land to build a farm, most places who want to grow organic will need at least, the number's actually 7. I've been saying 5 years. It's 7 years of pesticide-free dirt, basically. Well, Young Living's standards are so crazy that really you're looking at 50 years before they'll even consider purchasing the ground where they're going to grow their seeds. That's just one of the standards. A couple of other things that they do, there's mini greenhouses on each of these farms during the harvesting time. And what they do is they will pick and kind of test out the number of constituents that they're seeing throughout the day because it changes. That's something I really didn't know about plants. It depends on if you're harvesting early in the daytime, middle of the day, late at night. There's some things like jasmine that have to be harvested right around midnight. And Young Living, in order to have the highest amount of constituents, Young Living goes through all of that to make sure that you're getting in those bottles something that is worthy of that seed to seal commitment. So that was the first thing. I started to douse those oils all over me. At first they're coming to my house and I was kind of like, Ben, I don't know. I don't need all these oils. Pretty soon I had oils falling out of every pocket, all over my purse, just like throwing oils all over me. I became absolutely obsessed because I saw the quality that went into it. And that's when I started to experience, how different it is when you just pick up an essential oil from the grocery store versus something that is made from Young Living with the seed to sale quality. So that was the first thing. It was the most exciting way for me to fall in love with the oils. I really recommend everyone, when you get an opportunity, to check out these farms. But another kind of point that can be made about that is the fact that I saw the world. And if traveling is something that you love, if something that you want more of in your life, it's something that motivates you, inspires you. By the 4th rank, Young Living is flying you, paid by corporate as a guest, to many of these different locations, many of these different opportunities. If you're like me, I'm such a people person. Don't get me wrong. I get overwhelmed and I need me time, alone time. But when I can be with my people, my tribe, I thrive. And so many of these opportunities that you can win really connect you with an amazing tribe of people who are kind of in alignment with life the way that you're in alignment with. So I really, really love that. Traveling and, experiencing the seed to seal commitment. The third thing that I was able to experience during this time were the people. And I really was able to sit down and talk to a lot of people. Now, remember, I'm going as just a corporate guest. So I'm not really a member and I'm not really corporate working. And so I really had to fill my time in whatever way that I could. And because I am freaking strategic and I am a business person, anytime I saw any of the highest ranking members, I'd cozy up, we'd start chit chatting, and I'd start picking their brain, guys. I'm a businesswoman at heart. And I, at the end of the day, like, I just had a lot of questions. I wanted, how do you do it? What was the strategy you used? And are you kidding me? I met so many people who once I learned their rank, and realized what the average monthly income was for their rank, and realized that that number was more money in 1 month, and oftentimes, more money in a month than I had ever earned in a year. We're talking 6 figures, multiple 6 figures per month with this business. You could see very quickly why I had a lot of questions, right? How'd you do this? And how can I do it too, right? I just started to have the wheels turning in my head. And so that was really the third thing that I realized was, it looks like network marketing, it actually works. It looks like this is actually a really legitimate opportunity for people to gain, financial freedom, an opportunity that at the very worst is an opportunity to have side revenue that you didn't have before. And if you're anything like me, okay, I have a real estate license. I've worked corporate many years. I'm an influencer. I have a blog as well. It's all about the multiple streams of income, honey. This girl wants to retire. I want to retire early. I want an alternative plan to what the world has to offer, to waiting till I'm 65 to maybe have a retirement that's adequate. No way. No way. I'm all about the multiple streams of income. And that is why this opportunity really, really resonated with me. And when my husband left corporate, I had to get my kit and I had to begin my own journey. And so that is why I love talking about this, because especially right now, when we have the realization that really our health is our wealth, but also how those things impact each other. Really, really sadly, in this pandemic times, the people most seriously impacted are low income. And the low income is also a contributor to low wellness, right? So I really, really have been on fire about making sure that I open my mouth and talk about this opportunity. It's phenomenal. All of us, I don't know how many people are new here, but there's, all of us can do it. Figure out how to share and spread this opportunity throughout the world, because it's awesome for us, but it's awesome to be able to share that gift with other people as well. So moving into the next portion, I'm going to talk to you about my I'm going to talk about My three favorite oils, and then one other bonus. Okay. The first product that I want to talk about is my gateway oil. My gateway oil is many people's gateway oil. It's the most familiar essential oil out there. It's in the most products. It's lavender essential oil. And I think lavender is just, she's my queen. I love her so much. I use lavender every day. At any time, I have 6 bottles of lavender open throughout my whole house because I I use it so much. Now, the reason why I love lavender so much is because it's your calming oil. I have kind of a hyperactive, I'm stressed. I end up with anxious feelings often. And lavender, it's adaptogenic. So when I put lavender on my body before I go to bed, it helps me sleep. But lavender is also something that I can wake up and I can put on right before we do a class like this, and it's calming and relaxing in a way that's really, really mild. It's not, it's not going to sedate me. It's actually kind of helps me focus in when I'm doing something like this. So think of lavender as your calming oil. It's also awesome topically. It's phenomenal for your skin. So if you have any kind of inflammatory issues, rashes, even burns, anything like that, lavender is phenomenal to just support the skin as well. The second oil that I am obsessed with still, I mean, it's been like 6 months straight now that I'm obsessed with this oil. It has one of the highest amounts of sesquiterpenes, which is a compound in it. This oil is cedarwood, and cedarwood it'll change your life. It'll change your brain. Actually, sesquiterpenes really do have the ability, those molecules, to go inside your limbic brain and change around the DNA structures. I am sleeping so much deeper, so much better, so much more consistently because of cedarwood. It's also adaptogenic. So anytime during the day, it really is for me personally, and oils are so personalized. It's the oil, if I open up the bottle and just hold it like this, it calms me the very fastest. I really, really love cedarwood. And cedarwood's amazing topically. It's amazing for your hair. It's amazing for your skin. I'm all weaved up right now, but let me tell you that all of my hair care products that go directly on my scalp have cedarwood in it. You got to have this oil. It's phenomenal, and it's such a low cost oil. It's only like 10 or 11 bucks. So that's why I really, really love cedarwood, for the power that it packs with such a low cost. The third oil that I want to talk about right now, we all need some of this oil. We all need all of this oil. Order it up, never run out. This oil is Thieves. Thieves is Young Living's immunity oil blend. We've got lemon, rosemary, eucalyptus, cinnamon, and did I already say lemon? Clove. Clove is in it as well. So I know I always miss one. So Thieves is amazing because Thieves actually came together because of the legend of the 5 thieves during the bubonic plague. This is the legend, is that these guys would go around stealing from the dead and from the dying, and they would rub this blend, their herbal mix, all over them and never get sick. And so when they were finally arrested, they were given a lighter sentence for giving, the recipe that they were using in order to stay healthy. And there's so many different iterations of that. I've learned the 4 thieves, the 5 thieves, but the point is each and every one of those ingredients in there is phenomenal for your immune system. And when you blend them all together, not only is it a great blend for your immune system, but it smells like warm Christmas. And during this time of the year, you really all of us should just be packing in that Thieves. In the diffuser, I dilute it significantly and put it on my son's, he's 18 months. I put it on his little feet. I put it all over me. It really is the wellness keeper. And I really recommend that you look at the whole Thieves line as well. There's household cleaning products. There's personal care products that are all made from this same formula. But again, it smells like right now, it smells like fall time. And it's the best time to be diffusing Thieves. The last product that I want to talk about, I got to try this product during my time as an insider at Young Living. I got to try it before it was released, and it's the CBD line. And I was pregnant at the time. Excuse me. I was pregnant at the time. And so I used a few different things. I used the roller, I used this thing, and they were just, they were really just doing the first kind of rounds to develop the product from the I don't know, farm, let's call it farm in Colorado. And so I got my hands on these products, and I will tell you that I had the grip of life on these products. I use them every single day. Today, I still use CBD all the time. I use it really, especially during that time of the month. There's some research going that, CBD cannabis can be really, really effective for hormone, for PMS pain, all of that. But I also use it just because I'm an anxious person. I already shared that. I'm using CBD for pain relief. I roll it all over my spine from the roller. CBD is the long word for it is cannabidiol. And it's one of the active constituents, the main active constituents in the cannabis plant. So it is not THC. THC is the active component that makes you high or feel high. CBD is completely non-psychoactive, and it's really, really mild. And all I could say about CBD is there's a laundry list from mental health issues that it's addressing to physical pain that it's addressing as well, that CBD is coming out swinging out of the gates with this research. It's really, really important research. It's important to keep our eyes on it. But right now, I really say that CBD is one of the best things that's coming out of Young Living as well. So those are my 4 favorites. Lydia, I think you're next.
Sure am. Thank you. And I always love when she talks about not only cedarwood and talking about sesquiterpenes, because that was one of our first early words with my daughter. It was so cute. Sesquiterpenes. But then also the fact that these are items that we can use with and around our kids is just so, so awesome to know this is part of what we can use from when they're still growing within us, and then once we've birthed, and then even using it on them, and then again allowing them to grow with that. And so this is a beautiful way to create a whole new standard of wellness within our families, and that can affect generations. I mean, this is life-changing stuff, right? So with regards to my favorite, so I'm going to start with this guy. So I'm going to start with Citrus Fresh. Whoops, here we go. So with Citrus Fresh, here it is. This is one of my favorite oils to use. I use it in multiple ways. So I'm all about multitasking. So with Citrus Fresh, when I first started using it, I would actually use it in my smoothies. So I absolutely love smoothies. It is just my thing. We're very plant-based in our house. And so it gives us really great bright, fresh pop of flavor. I also love being able to use it in the diffuser because it is a blend of different citrus oils, and all of them are very clearly stated on the label. Citrus oils are going to be your happy oils. So when you're having a really tough day or just feeling like you're kind of going into the moody blues, this is a great one to be able to use to just help to brighten things up. It's like a pop song in a bottle. It's phenomenal, right? Then the other way that we love to use Citrus Fresh is as a fabric softener. So remember how I talked about we started to realize that whatever it was that was touching on our skin and that we were breathing in was going to affect our health? Well, then it was realizing, wow, what is it that we're washing our clothes in? What are the things that we're processing our clothes through before we, then hang them in our closet and then we're wearing them again? And so we realized that fabric softener was a big, right? So instead, we decided to create our own. And it's really simple. There's multiple recipes that are out there. We just use a real simple, either baking soda or vinegar, and then distilled water. And then you're using, when I make a larger batch, I'm using about 20 to 30 drops of Citrus Fresh. And then I just pour out however much I need into the dispenser, and away it goes. So it's a really great way to inexpensively replace your fabric softener and have something that's going to be very clean, very fresh. And again, it just smells like sunshine, which is awesome. Second favorite is peppermint. So with peppermint, this is one of the key oils that I chat with people about when they go, well, what's the difference between, what kind of oils that Young Living produces on something I could get someplace else? Just check the peppermint. Because if your peppermint smells like a candy cane, that is not what a peppermint should smell like. It should smell like the peppermint plant because it's coming from peppermint. The other thing to consider is that if it is peppermint, the same way that if I have out in my yard a peppermint plant and I could take the leaves off of that and I could use it in tea or use it in some sort of cooking application, I should be able to use peppermint internally. I should be able to use it in that way. For us here in the US, and I think it might be in some places internationally, there's what's called the Vitality line. It's a line of oils that basically shows that these oils can be used internally. You can use them in cooking, you can use them in, I love to use them in my tea. I love to use it in my water. It's just a really great way to not only aid digestion, it helps to curb appetite, which is lovely. But peppermint should be available for you to use internally. So if you go to a bottle and you look on the back of it and it says that it's peppermint, yet it says that you are not to use it, you're not to ingest it, you're not to use it internally, then that should give you a big clue that you're not dealing with true peppermint. It's just real clear, okay? So the ways that we use peppermint, again, we use it in our water. We will use it even as a spray. So you can use it as a spray around the house if you are wanting to keep little insects and critters at bay, especially during the summertime when they tend to pop up. And it's just a really great, refreshing, warming, really I should say refreshing, cooling way to relax during the heated months. So just taking a drop of this and then just putting it on the back of your neck and rubbing it in is a really great way to be able to just cool down on a hot summer day. It smells amazing. So there's those two. And then my third is actually an essential oil infused product. It's an essential oil infused drink. Okay, so it is Ningxia Red, which right now is, I keep my Ningxia Red packets in the freezer just because they taste amazing chilled. And so this is an antioxidant energy boosting powerhouse. This is all about your superfoods. This is all about cleansing and replenishing and just restoration for your cells. So it has this kind of a tinge to it. We call it the red drink. And it has changed my energy and my health in ways I never imagined. So to just really briefly go over what a superfood is. So superfood is going to be a food that provides for your body in multiple ways. It's kind of like the Bo Jackson of foods, where it can do all these different things for your body. It helps to restore cells, it helps to clean, it helps to energize, it helps with metabolism, all those different things. That's what a superfood does. It hits in all multiple areas. And so in here you have the Ningxia Wolfberry, which is if I'm remembering this correctly, it is one of the secret weapons, if you will, for the Chinese Olympic teams. And it's because the Ningxia Wolfberry is just an incredible superfood. It does absolutely awesome things for the body. The other thing about it is it's an antioxidant. And what that means is it's anti, which means it's against or it's reversing oxidant. So oxidation is what happens, for example, when you have an apple and you cut it and you leave it sitting, right? Same thing happens with the banana, most of your fruits. As it sits out on the counter, it will start to do what? It'll start to brown, right? And that browning process is because it's been exposed to oxygen. It's been exposed to open air. And so the flesh of that skin is going to start to brown. It's almost like the same rusting process that we see that happens with items that are metal items that are left out in the elements. It's a natural wearing down of that object. That same process happens in our bodies. Our bodies just naturally wear down over time. Where we have a little bit of a problem is the fact that there are different things that we expose ourselves to, whether it's the air we're breathing, our water sources, the foods in terms of how they may be processed and different chemicals that are used on them. All these different areas, even stress, act as an oxidant to our system. It wears our system down even more. So as an antioxidant drink, Ningxia Red helps to not only slow down that process in terms of it's going this way and it's going to slow it down, but it can also help in some cases to reverse that process. So you'll have a lot of people who say that when I'm drinking Ningxia Red, my body feels like it can just run better, it runs cleaner. That's because it's helping your cells. It's literally working on a cellular level to replenish those cells, to clean them up, to act like the lemon juice on that apple, to help to stop that antioxidant process or that oxidization process. So this is one of my absolute favorites. I typically will drink 2 ounces a day, especially now that we've moved back into school season, and it's amazing. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. So there it is. So I'm gonna drink my little Ningxia here if Dana would like to share on her favorite things.
I do want to share, but Lydia, before we completely go away from you, can you please also explain the whole limbic system situation? I love how you explain that and then have us put our hands on yeah, I can't explain that the way you do. So can you please just explain that?
You're so sweet. You got it. So cheers. Oh my gosh, it tastes so good. It's amazing when it's chilled, by the way. So when we're talking about the limbic system, so as I mentioned way at the beginning, we were talking about how you can use oils in multiple ways. You can use it for your physical as well as your emotional health. Something we need to keep in mind is that our emotions are at play in so much of what we do throughout our day. And many times we may feel like we're just at the mercy of our emotions, not realizing that we actually have ways to help to redirect our emotions. So you can do it through conscious language, which is phenomenal. When you pair conscious language, prayer if you will, with using an oil, you're helping to activate multiple areas at once. So with regards to your limbic brain, it's the most protected portion of your brain. So if you take finger and you put it at the bridge of your nose, I'll take these off so you can see a little clearly. Okay, so bridge of your nose. And then you take your other hand and you're going to put it right in front of your ear, okay? That is pointing to your limbic brain. It is the most protected portion of your brain, okay? It's very, very central to your brain. When we think about our frontal cortex, right? So this might be going back to biology or psychology. So when you think about your frontal cortex, that's the front portion of your brain. That's where you do your rational thinking. That's where you do your logical thinking. And then you have, of course, your primal brain, which is towards the back. So that's right here at the end of your brainstem. So when you are processing through emotions, emotions are not logical. Okay, they are emotional. So it is it's a very visceral thing that's happening to us. And when it comes to being able to speak directly to those emotions, you have to be able to speak directly to that part of the brain. So of your 5 senses, so that would be sight, taste, hear, touch, and smell. Of those 5 senses, only one of them goes directly to the emotional brain first before it goes to your rational brain. And that is the sense of smell. It's the reason why, for example, when you go to, and that's right, in real estate, you know this, that if you're wanting to show a house, if you can find ways to either have the smell of fresh baked cookies or of apple pie or something that's just really warm and inviting, it helps to bring those feelings of this feels like home, this is my space. It's the reason why you go to a spa and you enter and you just all of a sudden feel relaxed. It's because they have pumping through the air vents different oils to help with that feeling of aromatherapy. That's how aromatherapy works. So when you're using an essential oil, you're helping to tap into that part of your brain, and it helps with being able to process unresolved emotions so that if there's issues of, let's say, for example, forgiveness or of melancholy or just feeling anxious, frazzled, whatever the case is, this is a way to help you with processing those emotions. So just like Lydia was talking about lavender and how that helps her tremendously with anxiety, and I mentioned with Citrus Fresh and other citrus oils, they help if you're feeling a bit sad and feeling a bit low. That's what's happening to your body. That's what's happening to your brain. And it doesn't even have to necessarily involve you being able to have a sense of smell, if that makes sense, because the chemical constituents are just going to travel to that part of the brain to do what it is that they need to do.
Thank you. Thank you. I love that so much. I love the way she breaks that down and explains that. And I just want to add to that because I know for me, especially again, when I started my journey, I was still practicing as an esthetician. And so, whether you're a coach, whether you're a beauty professional, whether you're a healer, no matter real estate, no matter what you're in, by incorporating these powerful oils into your practice, you can set yourself apart from other people and leave an imprinted experience for each and every one of them. And so I want you to think about that too, not only when you think about how you can use them for yourself, but also how you can then help your clients to continue to have experiences afterwards as well. So I'm going to talk about a few of my favorites. And the first one I want to talk about is Aroma Ease. Aroma Ease is an incredible, incredible blend. It has peppermint, spearmint, ginger, cardamom, and fennel. I actually love, love, love cardamom. So I'm a big, I love like chai lattes and things like that. And so I love some cardamom. This one is great as far as when it comes to helping with your equilibrium, helping with anything that is connected to that digestive system. And so I love keeping this one at hand. I know when I had visited Utah, because of the elevation, especially one year where we stayed in Park City, I had a really hard time with my equilibrium. So Aroma Ease was one that I would put at the roof of my mouth just to help kind of support me in that way. So love, love, love Aroma Ease. It's a great, great blend to have on hand. It's a great blend to use. And then the next one I want to talk about is RC. So this is also an amazing blend. You'll either have like RC or eucalyptus or something like Raven. They all are eucalyptus base. So if you think anything respiratory, this is what this is going to help to support. So this was one of my best friends when it came to my son. So as I had mentioned, he was asthmatic. And so when he was a baby, I would literally sometimes stay at his crib and listen to his breathing because I was so nervous because I could hear the wheezing and I could hear the struggle in his breathing. So diffusing something like this really, really helped to open those passageways for him. I love, love, love having it on hand. And tip, guys, right now, if you are in an area where you have to wear masks or you have to be out in the areas, use a drop of RC. This is going to be really, really helpful, again, to open those passageways. And then the final one I'm going to talk about is this blend right here, Valor. So Valor, man. So Valor is probably one of my favorites. It's another amazing, amazing blend. I call it my liquid courage. So it's an incredible grounding oil. It's funny because a lot of times when I give out samples of Valor, like generally this is one that for the most part people enjoy and benefit from, whether they're male or female. So it's funny, right now I'm actually at my co-working space, and the owners of the co-working space actually are on my team. And so they use oils as well. And before they got started, what I did is give them a sample of Valor, and they actually gave it to all of their employees that were making cold calls. And before they got it, they were like, oh, we were so nervous to make the calls. And then they were like, well, take this liquid courage. Dana said this is liquid courage. And afterwards, they were like blowing through all of the calls, right? So maybe you have a big presentation or you have to be in front of people. Valor is going to be an excellent, excellent blend to have on hand. And a lot of what we mentioned this evening, when you get started, you'll get to experience a little bit of all of these. So that's all I have for you guys. I'm going to switch it back to Miss Lydia Riley, and she's going to close us out.
Okay, yes, thanks, Dana. I love hearing from you. And Lydia, you really do that limbic system talk the best. We both kind of put you on the spot at different times. Thanks so much for doing that. You guys, what I like to kind of close up on is to talk about whether or how to determine if this is the right opportunity for you. So you've heard us talk a little bit about our favorite products. If that's kind of where you are, just curious about using and incorporating more oils into your life, it's really as simple as getting a starter kit. Now, there are several starter kits that are available, and they can to some degree be customized. So just get together with the person that invited you to this meeting and just, start talking to them. We'll kind of figure out what the best starter kit is for you. They're all incredibly affordable, under $165. That's the premium starter kit is the very, very best deal. You get 100, and I'm talking in American dollars. I'm sorry, not the conversion, but with $165 kit, you're getting over $400 worth of products, and it goes down from there. So there's several opportunities. Again, just get together with the person that invited you to this meeting, figure out which one is the best for you. Now, for those of you who are hanging out and figuring out, okay, is this something that I can do in terms of, the business opportunity, or, what additional things do you need to do in order to get, into the business part of it? The good news is that you really don't need to do anything different. It all starts with that the starter kit, whether it's the premium starter kit or any of the other different starter kits. And so that's an awesome way for you to get started, because it doesn't take anything additional besides, starting out with the products. On top of that, the wellness industry, if this is something that you're kind of starting to think is maybe a good business opportunity, the wellness industry is a $4.5 trillion market right now. Those are numbers from 2018. Those have only gone up since then. And that's in an array of different areas, prevention, in, emotions, in mental health, in hair, and wellness covers so many different things. As we know right now, our wellness is top of mind. There's not anybody on this planet who isn't worried right now, or isn't not necessarily worried, but doesn't have healthy, staying well on top of their mind. And so that is one reason why this is such an amazing opportunity. With over 300 oils in the catalog that Young Living has, there's really an array of wellness topics that you can address for people with essential oils. The second thing I really like talking about in terms of just analyzing whether or not this is a good business opportunity is, what is the unique selling proposition? Young Living has really a couple. Number one, these are superior products. So if you're already using essential oils, or people that are already using essential oils regularly, then that is a really awesome opportunity to convert them over to Young Living, because it is the quality difference. Like I already talked about, Seed to Seal makes Young Living's products completely different than what you're going to be able to find on the shelves at any grocery store, Target shelf, Walmart, all of those. So really having a unique selling opportunity or proposition is really, really important. And you definitely do have that with the oils. I don't remember what that point was. Anyway, this is really an amazing time to have a business like this, because of that little thing that connects us all right now called the internet. And the internet really gives us such a different, broader reach with other individuals, that ability to connect, to tell our stories, to make introductions than we have ever had before. Like I mentioned before, I had this, behind the curtain opportunity with Young Living. I still gain that opportunity today with, it's the same kind of opportunity. My husband left Young Living, but what I noticed is mostly women, not just women, but mostly women doing a really, really good job of building a personal brand. And when you have that built, you can really share any product that you're passionate about and run it alongside your personal brand. And that is the unique, lightning in a bottle opportunity that we have right now. There's so many different channels, and so many of them are blowing up. I remember thinking when I first started to speak to some of these Royal Crown Diamonds, that's the highest rank of Young Living, or even just the diamonds, about what they were doing, many of them blew up because of a blog. And I was like, well, blogs are so old now. You can't, that at any given time, different technologies are evolving. Right now, it's a social media moment, but watch, you're not behind or anything. All you have to do is jump in and start connecting with people. So really the type of business that you can start running is up to you, and it's completely customizable. I've talked about this before, but I really do feel like we should do one of these meetings. I'll talk to Dana and Lydia about it, that talks specifically about the hows of marketing yourself, so that you're not that person that feels icky, selling to people. I could tell you right now, I get giddy with delight when I get to share something that I'm passionate about that I know somebody else is going to love. So I know that that's available for many of you too. Sometimes it's just, that shyness is coming from not knowing the how. And I really think we should address that. So we'll get together and we'll discuss that. But like I said, either way that you want to get started, just connect with the person that invited you to this meeting, and let's get your kit and get started. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time and wish you all the best. Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Thank you so much.
Thanks again. Have an amazing one. You're welcome.
Thanks, guys.